What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, Karana Sum here. Got official Thanksgiving going down. Doing the Essex County All Day Edition here. Got my man Keith Roberts about to jump on here. Been trying to get him since I started doing this here. So was finally able to connect with him, link up with him. He was like, you know what? Not a problem. If I got you here. Let me just get through my son's season here, and I got you. So with that being said, I'm just gonna get to Keith. We're gonna chop it up for a sec, and hopefully everybody enjoy. Hold tight.
Oh man, peace, brother. Peace.
How you?
Can't complain. Can't complain.
Good.
Life is good.
Nah,
Yeah.
I hear you, man. I appreciate this, man. Like I said, I was trying to flag you down for a second, man. So I'm glad you was able to carve some time out here, man. So I know basketball season just wrapped up for your son, right?
Yeah, that had me like really wrapped up, and and that kind of messed up our timing. I know I wanted to get to you sooner, but then I'm like, I'm so focused on this kid, and
I hear you.
Just had me like laser focused at that time.
Nah, ain't nothing at all. Now he's Rutgers Prep, I think, right?
Yes.
I mean, so they end up losing somewhere in the States?
They lost in the group final, and they played at Rutgers. They lost against Bergen Catholic, but they won the sectionals, which was the first time in school history that they did that. So he was able to, make that happen for them. So I'm more proud.
Most definitely, man. They got a good group coming back, or was it senior heavy?
Two of the starters were seniors, so they actually started 3 point guards, and he was one of them.
Okay.
They were small, but the two big men. They actually had two big men, and what I could call probably a combo guard that was senior as well. One of the seniors was hurt pretty much all year, but he gave some good minutes when he was able to. He's on his way to Manhattan.
Okay.
The other two kids are still up in the air, but there's a good bulk of kids coming back, but they're going to need some help next year for sure.
And you know how that goes. Somebody slipping through the cracks, so they'll find somebody. You know how that go.
Yeah, these coaches know how to work magic. I don't ask no questions, but
I hear you. Speaking of questions, man, I'm getting a little nosy here, man. I know you down that part of Jersey here. Did everything start up top? Any starts for you? Born and raised, or
I was born actually in Orange, but I pretty much lived in the same house my parents live in today. Okay. So I was born and raised in East Orange for the most part. Like they moved around a bit before I was born, but my home is East Orange.
Yeah, only child, or you have some siblings?
No, two older sisters, and they both went to Clifford J. Scott. My aunt went to Clifford J. Scott. It's like the people that I know pretty much in that area, all of us went to Scott, and we all know each other. It's like I know 4 generations of Scotties. Yeah, and we all like rock with each other when we see each other. So it's a big family there.
Scott heavy there, sound like.
Yeah, Scott heavy.
Now, even with all that being said, man, just ripping and running growing up, man, activity-wise, man, I know obviously ultimately you want to play, some basketball here, but anything else you used to get into?
My family, my father, he was a big baseball player in his day. But when I started growing up around 5 years old, we was bowling. Bowling was the family sport. Like everybody did it pretty much except my mother. So my 2 sisters bowled, I bowled. My father was good at it. That was our thing. So bowling was like my first sport.
Yeah.
So at 5 years old, pretty much I took the bowling and basketball, but bowling was my thing through grammar school.
You remember that first strike you rolled, man?
Can't remember the first. I remember a lot of gutter balls, but I think when it was all said and done, I averaged like 180 in the high 180s.
Okay.
Average when I stopped, and that was like right before I got to high school. packed it up.
How come?
Basketball.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, to me, I felt like I had to make a decision. Like, you know, either you're going to focus on bowling or you're going to focus on basketball. And I made a decision to stop playing, to stop bowling and play basketball.
Now, even with the bowling, though, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, you went to youth games for bowling, right?
Absolutely. I went to, I think three youth games. I attended 3 youth games in bowling. And yo, that's an experience. I wish they still had that now for kids. Yeah. Like that was an unbelievable experience at that time. Like, and to have all the different sports, you had track and field, you had bowling, you had basketball, of course, girls and boys, you had swimming. So it was a big deal to play for that. And you just wasn't given a spot. You had to try out for it.
Yeah.
So for me to do that, 2 or 3 times, that was a big deal for me.
Nah, because again, I know you guys went all over the country too, as far as where they held it at too. I was like from the DC, Alabama, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was all up and down the East Coast.
And it's interesting, even with bowling itself. Granted, I know obviously families and folks do it kind of when they're older, but to be that young and being in East Orange bowling, you know what I mean? That's unheard of.
Yeah, but the thing was, crazy thing is, a lot of people bowled back in the day. That was like the thing in the circles that my father had me around. So that was just, we went to Llewellyn Lanes in Orange and Palladium Lanes. That was our thing. You know what I mean?
I remember them. Yeah.
Weekends hit off. We at the bowling alley from 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. Like that was just the thing. And but basketball was also at the forefront when I was coming up, especially in grammar school.
Right. Now you went to Franklin, or you went?
I went to Columbia, and I hated Franklin.
Yeah.
I hated Franklin, but Columbian was my school.
Okay.
Yeah, Springdale and Grove. Yep.
Now, even being over there, as far as starting to play in leagues and organized basketball, you remember anything where you started to play it?
Well, organized basketball, I didn't touch until 6th grade.
Okay.
Before then, it was playing in my yard. My pops put up a hoop on the garage. I was fortunate enough for him to do that. And that's where I picked it up, in my yard. That's where I really picked it up. It was me and my boy. I would be Maurice Cheeks. He would be Moses Malone.
Yeah.
Just flip-flopping. And, sometimes we, Dr. J, we put a tire down and a little wooden plank.
Yeah.
Run up, start dunking. At 6, 7, 8 years old. That's what we did. That's how I learned to play, and then playing in the park. But at 6th grade, and me and my man was walking to the store. He's like, "Yo, you need to come play with us." I was like, "Play where?" He said, "Come play for Columbia." I said, "They got a team?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Come through." I said, "I ain't got nothing to do." All right. So we went there. I see all the kids that, that's in the park or whatever. I see the kids. I had no idea they had an organized team.
Yeah.
So I met the coach, and he was like, "Suit up. Let's practice." So I practiced, and at the end of the practice, dude, like, "Yo, you got to play." Like, "You got to sign this permission slip. Get your parents sign this permission slip." I was just like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yo, you was just killing everybody. Play." All right. So that was my introduction to organized ball. Like that day, just my man asking me to come.
Wow.
Come down, check it out. And ever since then, it was like, "Yo, you could do this." So, and then our league was at Elmwood Elementary.
Yeah.
That was the league. And I didn't know what I was getting into. Like, that thing was serious at that time. Like, scores tabled, you had the buzz in. It was referees, parents. I'm like, "Yo, this is a real thing going on here." They used to actually come get us on a van, pick us up at your park, and then you go to the game. Like
Right.
it was a big deal back then. So that's how I got to meet a lot of players that ended up being, you know, opponents or teammates.
Okay.
You know, through that.
Nah, it's interesting you say that. Then even from Columbia, then what middle school did you go? Did you play straight through middle school and all that stuff too, right?
Hart Middle, yep.
Yeah.
I went to Hart Middle. So Hart Middle is still the league was still through Elmwood. Okay. And it was based around where you lived and what park you was representing. Because every park in Starnes had a team. It was Elmwood, it was Washington, it was Raleigh Park, Oval Park, Franklin, Southwood Park. They all had teams. So, you know, it was a big deal. Our team, unfortunately, we was trash. Yeah. We got trashed a lot. And that's where I caught my attitude. Like, I hated losing. But we a lot. I would score a lot, but we would lose. Yeah. And it drove me crazy.
Nah, and it's a little different from bowling. It's just you and the pins. And
yeah, man. It's just you.
Yeah.
You ain't got nobody to blame if you mess up. You know what I mean? You could blame it on your equipment, your shoes, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just you and them pins. So
yeah,
playing a team sport, it was a different transition.
Nah, most definitely, man. And then even with all that being said, that the competitive, that hunger, you had it. Now, even going to high school, I know you end up at Scott. Was there any the foregone conclusion? That's where you going? Was there nowhere else you was trying to go?
Man. I got a quick story for that one. So my sister took me to Clifford Scott game when I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
And I got to see, at the time, I didn't know who he was. It was Troy Webster.
Yeah, you know? Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the stands. I believe it was at Orange High School. I'm sitting in the stands. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on here? Like, it's packed in there. Yeah. I'm like, they here to see a basketball game? I'm like, because before then, my thought of being a packed gym was Madison Square Garden, you know, the Meadowlands or something like that, a pro event. Like, so I saw this high school event being like all these people there and people chanting Troy's name in somebody else's gym. I'm like, it's a big deal. Yeah. I looked at my sister, I'm like, yeah, I'm playing here. I'm going to play basketball at Scott. And it never was in my mind to go somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There was a point in 8th grade where me and my center, Amika Wilson, 8th grade, we got a visit from Newark Tech's coach. And he brought us down for a day, like a student for a day down to Newark Tech. He was, I think his name was Gary.
Gary. It's Gary, yeah.
And he definitely put in his bid. He was like, yo, I want y'all. And but me and him was like, nah, we going to Scott. We just knew it. We had a plan.
Still there?
I'll take that move over.
Yeah, I know you talked about to get over there to Scott. You get to Scott. I mean, again, the history behind it. You got Coach Tynes. Just the history with it. Somehow you on that varsity team freshman year, I believe, right?
Bro, that's my plan was go to Scott. My freshman year, I'm playing JV. That's what I had in my head.
Okay.
You know, and I had times for gym class for my last period. So I'm in there one day, goofing off, and me and some kid had an argument, whatever. He pulls me to the side. I was like, yo, man, you keep getting in trouble. What's going on with you? What you here for? He's like, I said, I'm here for school and I'm here to play ball. He's like, play ball? See,
Yeah, Keith, you there?
I'm good enough to play JV. He's like,
Okay.
really? He's like, all right, come here. Took me out on the floor. All of a sudden, two other basketball players that I knew from the area come walking in the gym. He's like, yo, we're going to play 2-on-2. So it's me. The other guy's funny thing is Marquise Bragg. The other kid is Corey Brooks. Corey Brown, my mistake. No, it's Corey Brooks. And we played 1-on-1. I mean, we played 2-on-2. I'm pretty much doing what I naturally knew how to do. And I'm scoring. Like I'm just doing what I do.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he comes to me. He was like, you know what? You ain't playing freshman, nor you're playing JV. I was like, so what am I doing? He's like, you're playing varsity. That's how I got on the team.
Yeah, 2-on-2, huh?
2-on-2. Yep, that's how I got on this team. He was like, I thought I had to try out or whatever. I was like, word on the street is you don't have any freshmen playing varsity. He was like, no. He was like, but you're going to have to prove yourself. You might be my first one.
Okay.
He was like, if you do what I think you could do, you're going to be the first one. So he was like, you going to come to tryout? I was like, nah, I can't make it. He's like, what you mean? I'm like, I got to go down south with my parents for Thanksgiving. Like, that's right before tryouts.
Yeah.
You know, I had to go down south with my pops. He was like, you know what? You making this real hard. like, coach, you can call them and ask him. He's like, all right, just when you get back, come to practice. Man, that first day of practice.
Well, who's there though? I mean, because they loaded. Y'all loaded.
Bro, it's Marquise Bragg. It's Derek Bobbitt. This Derek Bobbitt first year after transferring from university.
Right.
So it's D-Bob. It's Gerard Fryer. It's Hassan Ellaby. Raymond Good. Gabe. Dang, I can't even think of Gabe's last name right now. I got so many names in my head right now. Gabe McKinney.
Okay.
And then we had Brian Taylor. We had Corey Brown, left-handed killer shooter.
Yeah.
We had Corey Brooks at the point. We had a squad. Like, and me at the time, I knew these guys, but I didn't know what level of basketball they was playing at until that practice.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I went home crying. I never practiced like that in my life. It was like, I saw Haas the next morning at study hall. Was like, yo, when the next time we have practice? He like, today. I said, I'm like, we doing all that again? He said, yeah, it's just the beginning. I said, man, I don't think I could do this. Like, I was hurt.
Yeah.
But, over the days, it got easier and easier. But that was a culture shock. Like, it was a reality check. Definitely a reality check.
Yeah, just those names you mentioned, man. I remember a bunch of them, man. And like I said, Scott, you playing for titles. You playing for conference, county, state titles. It ain't you just playing to be playing over there neither. So yeah, so you walked into something. Yeah.
I didn't know about rankings and all that and being in the newspaper. So that was all new to me. Like I didn't know, So remember having a meeting. They like, yeah, you guys are ranked, I think 14 or somewhere between like 12 and 14 in the state. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, this team is ranked like in the state? Like they do that?
Yeah.
But it was a big deal. So, that freshman year, it was a lot to learn and you had to learn it quick.
Now, PT, did you get any playing time? How did you do?
First few games, no. Okay. It was watch and learn. First few games. The game I had a breakout, and it's crazy that I go back to this gym. It was at Orange High School. We playing against Mike Boyd.
Al Grant, those guys.
Yeah, they had that monster squad that year. James Robinson.
J. Rob.
J. Rob, yeah. I forget their big man name, but he was a killer. They had a squad, but Mike was at the forefront of that squad.
Mm-hmm.
Remember times coming to me like, yo, we need you. So I got the game, and all I knew was get the ball to Marquise.
Mm-hmm.
I knew if I get him the ball, that's an assist.
Yeah.
So by the time that game was over, even though we lost, I had probably like 10 assists, you know, just going to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Ty started seeing like, okay, this kid, I think he kind of ready. So at that point, I started getting more and more playing time. And I think even a couple games I started. But
Okay.
I started playing regularly after that point. And actually played more my freshman year than I did my sophomore year. Because Rod Fryer got hurt, and that was our other guard at the time. And he got hurt, so it left a window open for me to get some playing time. And I took advantage. I definitely took advantage of that.
Now you playing freshman, sophomore year. You doing anything in the summer? I mean, again, I know AAU ain't crazy like it is now. Are you playing AAU, or are you just playing around the way to get your skills right, or what are we doing?
Everything was pretty much, for the most part, in the park.
Okay.
It was park life. I had, Raymond Good used to come on his bike, yelling in my window, yo, let's go. 8, 9 o'clock in the morning in the summer. He like, let's go. So we go work out. We go in the park working on pick and rolls. Like he really put me under his wing in high school. And he showed me like what work ethic was. So that's one way I learned. I remember times coming to get me. It was like, yo, I got a camp I'm running out in King College at the time. And Ron Cornegay was the head coach, and he was running it. That's where I got to see Malik Cox, Mazik, Lance Jackson. We got cool there. It's like I got to play against some heavy competition.
Yeah.
That summer, but that freshman year, that summer was an experience too.
And plus, I did the summer league in Elmwood too, right?
The summer league in Elmwood, and that was heavy. That was a heavy thing, and got a lot of burn there too, and was able to catch a lot of experience, and looking forward to that next season. Definitely, we knew we had a good squad coming that next year. We didn't do what Scott was expected to do my freshman year, but it was an experience, definitely. But we had
sophomore, y'all got rocking. I mean, y'all won the county that year, right?
Bro, we won the county. We should have won states, but we had 3 teams. We literally had 3 teams on that squad. Like, the starting 5, we had a whole nother 5, and then we had another 5 with freshmen. So that's where my squad was. So we had, Amika Wilson on that third squad, Jermaine Mathis, Cecil Bonds, and Darryl.
I remember them names.
We had a squad. Even that year, back then, I think it's still now, you could play up to 5 quarters. So, since my time was kind of cut in my sophomore year, I would offset it playing JV.
Okay.
So back then, varsity played first, JV played second. So I would play 3 quarters varsity, and play the second half JV. We actually, when we won the county that year, we actually won the JV tournament too.
JV tournament.
Right after.
They played that at Scott, I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah, we won the JV tournament, and we beat North Tech, actually. And we was undefeated that year. We would like scrape cats like 100 to 50. Like we broke 100 points probably about 7 times that year.
Yeah.
So we was kind of cocky back then. Like we knew we was good, So come that junior year, oh man.
Coach Shines gave you the keys. You gave you the keys.
Oh, it was on. Yeah, it was on. He was like, yo, it's your show to run at this point. There was nothing in the way at that point. But that summer, after my sophomore year, that's when AAU really started popping off. And back then, it was only, if I remember right, it was 3 teams. in the area.
Mm-hmm.
You had Central Jersey Hawks, you had Road Runners, and North Rams.
Yeah.
That was it. You know, if you wasn't on one of them squads, you wasn't playing in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Sandy coming up to us, having us try out there. That didn't work out. I ain't even like how he was running things, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, Luther at the time, you know, he had all his Elizabeth kids,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I don't know what he was thinking calling us over there, but we ended up at the Rams. We ended up with North Rams and B.
It would be,
you know,
yeah.
Coach B was, man, listen, that was some of the funnest basketball I've ever played when I played with him.
Mm-hmm.
Me, D-Rock, Lance Jackson, Wally Dixon, Mika Wilson, Purnell from Hillside, Darryl
Mm-hmm.
Purnell.
Yeah, I know about, yeah.
Yeah, we had a squad.
I believe it, man. I know by then my AAU days is over, man. I think I'd like 13, 14 years old, and that was it. But I just remember just even those times, just hitting that, going up them stairs and just watching all the old heads back then. I can only imagine. It's like it's an all-star. It's an event in itself just to be in that gym, just to watch practices and everything else. So I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, practices was harder than the games. And that's how high school ball was, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially, you know, my sophomore year, practice was way harder than the games. So come game time, it was like things was kind of not easy, but it was easier than practice. So
yeah. No, interesting you say that. That even that junior year, you know, if other stuff start coming in play, man. Interesting you mentioned going to North Tech or, you know, Coach Gary trying to get you down there. All these awards start kicking in, man. You like first team All County, I think, junior year, right? It was you, it was three juniors, and you was one of them. It was Ira, and it was Tariq.
Yeah,
So how interesting was that? Yeah. You would have went to North Tech, could have been you, Tariq.
Now, the crazy part is at the time, I didn't think I was doing anything special enough to get that accolade.
Okay.
But times kind of pushed it.
Okay.
Because after we lost to after we beat North Tech at the time, I think they was number 4 in the state, and we beat them in the semis.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had that monster Shabazz and Eric Williams and that crew.
Yeah.
And that was an experience right there. That's one game. I just watched that game probably 3 weeks ago and still trying to redo that ending.
Mm-hmm. Was that a close game? That was a close game, or they took it to you?
We lost by 2.
Ooh.
We lost by 2 points that game. Yeah. We supposed to, in all sense of the word, we were supposed to get blown out.
Okay.
Like, Shabazz was coming in that game knowing they was going to blow us out. I mean, up to probably 4 minutes left in the fourth, we was down 13, 14 points. We came back and actually took the lead at one point. Like, we went on a hell of a run, like historic run in that fourth quarter, but we just couldn't pull it out. You know, we even had a couple shots to tie it up at the end, but it didn't happen. And but at that point, I think we put the county and the state on notice, like, yo, these kids is real.
Yeah.
We knew we was good. Like, we knew we was good, but on paper, after losing like 7 centers and you got nothing but juniors and sophomores, like, you're not expected to be at the top of the food chain in Essex County, especially at that top, not Essex County.
Right.
Everything run through seniors. So for us to get to the finals, you know, another year after losing so many seniors, we made noise. Made a lot of noise that year. And, yeah.
How'd y'all do in the States that junior year?
We actually lost to Shabazz again in the sectional semis in Cranford.
Yeah.
Lose to them again. But after those games, like, after that first Shabazz game, that finals, I think I had 20-something points, how many ever assists, and But looking back now, it's like I was averaging, I think, almost 16 points, damn near 10 assists,
Okay.
and like 6 rebounds and like 4 steals.
Mm-hmm.
So those, looking back at it, I guess that was enough to get first team all county.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I wasn't even the leading scorer on my team. Like, I was third.
Mm-hmm.
I was the third leading scorer on my team. It was Cecil and Jermaine Mathis. They was both averaging 18.
Yeah.
I was third. Mika was fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So that told me, like, it's not just about the points. It's,
right.
It's the other things that you're doing that's getting noticed. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I prided myself on, hitting the open man, getting my guys easy baskets. Like, I enjoyed, passing the ball.
Mm-hmm. Nah, that says a whole lot. Nah, that says a whole lot here. Then I know is college starting to enter your mind around this time? Like, maybe I can go to college for free here.
Oh yeah, that was actually my plan from the time I decided I wanted to play basketball seriously in high school. My plan was to get to school for free.
Okay.
That was the plan. My plan started with that thought and ended with that thought. It was that was it. That was my only focus, was win as many games as you can, try to get some rings in the process, and get to school for free so your parents ain't got to pay for it. So that was my ultimate plan. So at that point, letters started rolling in. Letters really started rolling in after my sophomore year. You start getting those letters and stuff. And the information now is different than it was back then. Like, I ain't follow up with none of these letters. Like, I ain't fill out the questionnaire. I just tossed them to the side. I didn't understand what the recruiting process was. And I really didn't have anybody there to explain it to me. So my parents, they took care of me. They did a great job, but they had no idea what I was getting into at that point. They had no idea how to navigate a recruiting process. They're like, you know what you're doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just, some school is going to pop up and say they want me and I'm going there. That was my thought. I mean, I was like ignorant as hell to the process. So, but schools were hovering. They definitely was hovering around. And yeah.
So going into your senior year, obviously with the schools and just being 17, 18, going through senior year, all this other stuff, man, how you guys wound up doing that last year?
Last year, we were from the beginning, we knew we really had three goals. One, get the most wins in Scott history.
Okay.
2, win that Christmas tournament. We was actually flying to Florida on Christmas to play in the tournament in Florida, Ocala High School, to play there. We wanted to win that. And of course, we wanted to win the county, and we knew we had enough to win the states. So those were the goals. Okay. And so we started that season. We were walking through guys. Like, there were some games that were close. West Side used to always give us a problem. West Side was like one of those teams, like, you just a pain in the ass. Like, they were annoying to play against, but we would always find a way to win. But some of our worst basketball was against West Side, and that probably says a lot about the way they played. Like, they played tough brand of basketball at that time. So we were real, I wouldn't even say arrogant, but we was real confident going into that senior year.
Yeah. And then even with that being said, with those goals you just mentioned, which ones did you were able to knock off?
So, Christmas tournament, we fell short in the semis.
Okay.
We lost in the semis we lost 3 games that year. Every game we lost by double digits. Like, every game we lost. So there was a trend going on with the games we lost. So anytime our big man didn't play well, we found ourselves in a bind,
Okay.
right? Because even though he may have not been our leading scorer, but he was a focal point of our team. For us, we knew once we played against them dogs, we needed all hands on deck. That starting five, we all average double digits. So if we all get our average, we win in the game, or at least we're going to be right there at the end. So if one of us falls short because we didn't have that bench that we had our sophomore year. So our senior year, we really relied on that five that we had.
Yeah.
So, it boiled down to that. Long as these guys do what they're supposed to do, we're probably going to win this game. So anytime one of us falls short, it's a chance we're going to lose. So we lost. We came in third in that tournament. Excuse me. We came in third. I think I got all tournament at that time. I think I averaged about 18 points, something like that. So at that juncture, we went on to the counties. Now, counties, we walked into the counties only losing one game.
Yeah.
And we ain't lose to a Jersey team yet. So, we had some close calls with West Orange. I think we went to a double overtime or something like that, but we always found a way to win. And at that point, Seton Hall Prep, they were doing their thing, So I believe we was 1 and 2. I can't remember if they was 1 in the county or we were 2 or vice versa, but we were 1 and 2 in the county all throughout up until the finals in the counties. And even at that time, East Side started making a lot of noise too.
Yeah, had the Walton boys, I think, right?
Yeah, bro. They was them two were a problem.
Yeah.
And they had a third guard that was a problem. I forget his name, but they had a 3-headed monster that was a problem. And they was making noise in the county. We knew it. So we had actually East Side in our county semis. But we found a way to win. And, it's time for the county finals. We really were walking into that game thinking, not even thinking, believing that we was going to scrape Seton Hall Prep.
Yeah.
Like, there was no doubt in our mind that we was about to scrape these boys. Even though those are all our guys over there,
right.
Ira, Waddell, Walter Morton, like these are our guys. Like we've known each other since middle school playing against each other. So at this point, it's like we in the park. We about to take this to the park. And their game plan was way better than ours that game. So we fell short again, and we got scraped. Like, I've never lost a game that bad. It was 77-55. We lost by 22 points, bro. We got scraped in the finals. You talk about, I was pissed, least to say. Like, even Waddell hit me up after that game.
Oh, yeah, that sound like him.
Yeah, he hit me up after the game, like, yo, let's go hang out. I'm like, man, I'm not hanging out with you tonight, bro. Like, no, man. Like, no, like, just no. I'm not up for it, man. We're not hanging out. We can hang out another night, but not tonight. Like, just get off my phone right now.
Yeah,
that was that game. Oh man, pissed me off. Yeah, we wasn't ready. We walked in. Up to that point, every game we walked into, we felt like we were underdogs. So we played like that. So we played like we were underdogs. But that game, we felt like they were the underdogs. So we ain't come with the right mentality for that game at all. And they were on fire.
Yeah, they were, man. But interesting enough, though, this is the same team, your squad here, y'all make it to Tournament Champions, correct?
Oh yeah, we went on a run after that. Yeah, we got back to that dog mentality, and we went on a run after that. And we played. I think we started off with Mount Olive, then we had to see Parsippany Hills again. Because Parsippany Hills had a monster too.
Was
They
Eric
had
on that team? I don't
Eric
know.
Collins on that team,
Okay.
and then Glenn Secunda.
Segunda, yeah. He went to
He
Syracuse, yeah.
ended up scoring, I think, 2,000 points for his career. So interestingly enough, we played them twice in the States. That was our second time playing in the States. We ended their season our junior year.
Okay.
We ended their season. Actually, we beat them by double digits that game. They had like 26. We ended up fouling out Glenn. He had probably one of his lowest scoring games, but he still had 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
He was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
So we had to see them again. Now, mind you, that was their first loss that year. But when we seen them again, they hadn't lost since then.
Okay.
They were undefeated that year. Okay. So they had the higher seed than us. So we had to go out Morristown to play them. Mm-hmm. And they came to play that game. And that was probably our closest game in the States. We ended up pulling it out. We held Glenn to about, I think he only had like 21 points. And that was his lowest for the season. Mm-hmm. But we ended up into that season again. Luckily. Thank goodness. Yeah. I know they didn't like us at the time, but we had to do what we had to do. We had a bigger plan than, them going undefeated.
Oh, no, most definitely. And it's crazy, even with that whole tournament of champions, is how, even around that time, I know it was only a few years in as far as them doing that, but to just get that opportunity, man, I'm sure the school was jumping. Everybody was excited about all that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And actually, as a team, we had a plan to play St. Anthony's. Like, that was like a goal as a team to get to St. Anthony's because we knew those guys. You know what I mean? We knew Danny Hurley. We knew Jermaine Womack and those guys. Roger Rose, we knew them. So we used to talk that trash like, yo, y'all think y'all good, but we good too. Like, we gonna get a chance to play y'all. And when we do, we gonna see what's up. But we win the champion. We win the Group 3 against Camden Wilson. Oh, them boys came to play too. But remember me saying when we all show up, it's hard to beat us. Okay. So our big man, Amika Wilson, he probably had the game of his life in the Group 3 state championship. Like, I seen, as soon as I got him the ball the first time, I was like, oh yeah, it's on. Like, he's on. And coach looked at me, we looked at each other. I'm like, yeah, we getting him the ball. Like, he's getting the ball. I think he ended up with 25 and 17. Okay. Like, he went off. And we ended up beating, Camden Wilson. And at the time, they had 3 1,000-point scores, and one of them, a 2,000-point score, Reggie Welch. So, it was, that was a game. And I think, again, we walked into that game as underdogs. So we had a chip on our shoulder in that game, and we ended up winning. So tournament champions was next. Yeah.
Now, who y'all played first round?
Delsey, school we ain't never heard of.
They had the big boy. I can't think of his name.
Demetrius Coles.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep. Lefty. Like, you'll look at him, be like, and this kid he ain't nothing. And he put on a clinic. Yeah. He put on a show down there, like, literally. And then we probably had one of our worst shooting games that we could have had for the season right then and there. And, that's where it all ended in that game. So we was one game away from seeing St. Anthony's. Yep.
Wow. So high school's over, man, and this recruiting thing, man, like, what schools was interested before you ultimately decided to go where you went?
At that point, I had one school was like really like on it. It was College of Charleston, South Carolina. Okay. They were like actively trying. They were coming to the games. They were actively trying to get me to come down here. So one time he hit me up and was like, you know, I want you to do an unofficial visit. Come down to South Carolina. I'm like, how the heck you think I'm getting down
there? Right.
Like my parents ain't driving me down there, even though I got family down there. But at the time, they working. I'm like, and again, this is the ignorance part, that not understanding the information. Like, you got to build a relationship with these guys. I don't know this at the time, so I kind of like brushed them off. And of course, there's 1,001 kids my height, that could do what I do. I ain't, Tom, I'm not special. You know what I mean? I'm not scoring 30 points a game. I'm averaging 15 and 10. Like, it's nothing miraculous about what I'm doing. I could go find another kid that, that's doing what you're doing and more, and probably taller. So, that fell through because I didn't follow up. So at that point, it was Wagner College was hovering. And I went on a visit there. They was, close by. James Madison was kind of flirting around. But I decided to go to Wagner. Yep.
Now, you get there, again, like you said, next door, I mean, far enough, but close enough at the same time. But how was it did you learn at Wagner the business of basketball outside of just playing?
I got a good lesson in, loving basketball and understanding the business of basketball. Like, the business of basketball, I had no idea about until I stepped foot on that campus.
Yeah.
Like, I learned that was another hard lesson there. And it wasn't about your talent or anything like that. It was about what you brought to the table that was marketable to make them money. Like, there was a process to get on that floor. It wasn't just about what you were able to do. And this team, prior to me stepping on that campus, they were the worst team in the country. The year before. They had four wins. So step on the campus, I'm thinking, y'all trash. There's no way I'm not going to play,
Right.
But it was a process, and just the practices alone and the conditioning, I wasn't ready for. Like, it took me a minute to catch up to where, these juniors and seniors and even sophomores were. So it took me a minute to adjust. It was an adjustment. School was fine. Like, I never had a problem with academics. Like, that was easy. It was, and the social part, I ain't never have a problem being social, but it was the basketball part and the behind the scenes part that I needed to catch up on. So,
now, you said behind the scenes. What was an example of that?
Well, it was more so the work ethic. Like, they wanted us to run 3 miles in, under 25 minutes. It's stuff like that. Like, it was the work that had to be put in. I wasn't ready for. And I'm used to just going out. I'm not used to working out. Like, I'm used to working on my game. And I felt like I was already in shape. I didn't know what in shape was until getting to college. Like, that was a whole different type of grind that I wasn't, quite ready for. But I got acclimated, pretty quickly. But it was a culture shock, to say the least.
How'd that impact your playing time early on?
Well, I played a little bit. I played here and there. I get, minutes here and there. I wasn't satisfied. But, I would take it out in practice. I would go nuts in practice, and but what I noticed is my body started changing. Like, I was getting stronger, not knowing, like, I'm literally getting stronger. And, I'm getting better, but I wanted instant results. I wanted it right then and there. I wasn't being patient. So my mindset was a little different because I knew after college, I didn't want to play ball no more. That was it for me. College was it. I didn't want to play ball after college. Like, I didn't think about, NBA. I didn't think about overseas. Like people would say, "Oh, why you ain't go to NBA? Why you ain't do this?" Dude, you don't know. I didn't want to play ball after college. Like that was not my MO. It was to go to college, and that's it.
Okay.
That's where I wanted to end it. So for me, if I wasn't going to play my freshman and sophomore year, you're taking my time that I have left.
Right. Right.
Like I want to make these next 4 years like as great as possible. You know what I mean? So it didn't happen instantly. Even my sophomore year, it took some time to get playing time. And it got frustrating. It got real frustrating. Like, yeah, I started getting like out of pocket towards the coach. Like,
yeah.
So at one point during practice, I remember vividly, he was like, anybody here got a problem with their playing time? I looked around, ain't nobody raised their hand. I raised my hand. It's like, yeah. He was like, all right, we can go talk in the office. I'm thinking we're going to have a conversation right then and there in front of everybody. Like you asking a question like that. So we went into the office and I laid it out to him. Like, yo, what you bring me here for? Like, I'm not a bench player, bro. I'm like, I did that in high school for 2 years. Like, I'm like, your program was trash last year. You're finally winning, but I'm not here to sit on your bench.
Right.
I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a role player, or I can play a role. However, I'm not playing a role from that bench. That's not it. It's like, well, I need you to do certain things. I'm like, yo, I've done everything you asked. I need my playing time. Either you give me my playing time or let me go. Like, I'll just go elsewhere. It's like, well, I don't think you can make it on another Division I team. I was like, at this point, I don't care. I'll go anywhere but here if I'm not playing. So we had it out. And I was like, you know what? At this point, if you're not playing me, like I literally said to him, if you're not playing me when the game is on the line, don't play me. If you're not playing me when the game is meaningful, don't play me. Don't come to me when either we're getting blown out or we're doing the blowing out. I don't want garbage minutes. So we left that conversation pretty much me knowing I'm leaving.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's probably the worst decision I made at that point.
Yeah.
Instead of just driving him crazy and staying there and forcing his hand, I let him off the hook and I let myself off the hook by leaving. But interestingly enough, after that, me and him got along great. After that, he started actually playing. Like I actually started getting more minutes after that. And it got to the point where he would ask me, he was like, I'd be on the bench. He'll ask me to come up to me, be like, yo, you want to play now? You want to play? And depending on how the game went, I would say yes or no. Like, it was literally to that point. And depending, like I said, depending on if the game was like, if it's something where I can really contribute and be a part of a program, I would be like, yeah, I'm playing. Or if the game was already in hand and he could put in some kids that never ever going to play, go play them. Like, let him try to score some points or something. Nah, I'm good. But actually, me and him, we turned out to have a better relationship after that. And he tried to come to me before, my sophomore year was out to say, if you choose to come back, you can. But I got in my own way at that point. And made what I call a terrible decision at a young age. I made a bad decision by transferring.
And then you bouncing, you wind up going Montclair State?
Yep, Montclair State.
Okay.
So I go there. So I go from, this is how stupid the decision was. You go from free ride to Division III. So you're pretty much, you got to pay for school.
You're paying, right.
Yeah, you got to pay for school. So I knew the coach. Our coach was actually a teacher at Clifford J. Scott. So I already knew who the coach was. And good guys, the assistant, good guy, Jose Rebimbis. He's actually used to be, what's that school in Patterson? Division III school in Patterson.
Which one? Kennedy? William Patterson.
William Patterson. Yes, William Patterson. He was the head coach there for many years. Now he's the assistant for Seton Hall University girls, women's, my mistake, women's basketball team. So he was the assistant at the time. So I went there. I was playing with Keith Hines and Greg Fowler, some other guys. And I had no idea what I was walking into, but all I knew, I was starting. That's all I knew. I was starting, and I was going to get to play the type of basketball that I knew I could play on that, just on a college level. I didn't care if it was Division I, II, or III. I just knew what I could bring to the game, and I just wanted to show it. So, so I'm at Montclair State. At this point, and, it's time to ball.
But I tell people don't, and I tell people don't sleep on the end jack. Don't sleep on that at all.
Bro, I got a good lesson in what the end jack is about. Like that's why I could. Those teams in that conference could give mid-majors hell any given day. Yeah. Any given day. Between Montclair State at that time, Jersey City, Rowan, Stockton, they were at the top of the food chain at that point. Well, not even Montclair State, but Montclair State the year before really wasn't that good, but it was Jersey City. Rowan was the top dog, and then it was Stockton, Jersey City State. Keene was tough. All the teams were pretty good. Even William Patterson, had a run. They were pretty good as well. But Rowan and Jersey City State was probably at the top of the food chain that year. And then we made our run, and we probably had one of the best records in school history at that point. I think we ended up being 18-8, I think. And we made a good run that year. We definitely made a good run.
Yeah, let me ask in regards to obviously you at Montclair State. Are you happy you getting playing time, or are you still disappointed in your decision leaving Wagner while you're there?
At that point, bro, I was done with basketball.
Okay.
At that point, like that year was, I was just done with basketball. I just wanted to be done. I wanted to be done with school. I wanted to be done with basketball. I just didn't want no parts of basketball at that point. But I still went through the motions that year. And I had to apologize to my teammates not too long ago. Like the teammates that I had at that time, I had to apologize to them. Like, yo, I ain't even give you my all. Like I really did them dirty. And that's just a self-reflection on growing up. You know what I mean? And, that was a bitter pill to swallow. But I didn't give my all that year. And I still did well. That's the crazy part. But I knew in the back of my mind, like, yo, you shouldn't even be playing right now. So that's how that year went. So, but we ended up doing pretty good, but I wasn't the least bit interested in basketball. I wasn't interested in school. I wasn't even going to school. I just went there to play ball. Okay. Like literally, I wasted money that year. Like when I tell you mentally, I was just in the worst place ever when I left Wagner. Like when you get older, you look at certain points in your life and you think, when did you change? Like, when did you grow up? Like, that's my moment. Like, that was the start before I hit like a rock bottom point that year.
How'd you get up out of it?
My mother, actually. So I come home one day, my mother, she like, she throws the paper on my bed, and she like, somebody left this on my desk at work. So I look at it. It's a newspaper clipping showing my name and face saying he's ineligible for next season.
Mm.
She was like, yo, like, what the F have you been doing all year? Like, what have you been doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, nothing. I'm like, I ain't been doing nothing. She's like, you ain't going to class, you just playing ball and you paying for that? I said, yeah. She was like, you know what? I'm disappointed in you. Yo, that rocked me. That right there rocked me to the point I was like, yo, you got to get your life together, bro. That was my awakening at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had to be 94 going into 95. So at that point, I was like, I got to change my life.
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of like, I stopped playing ball on the real.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I touched the basketball, like played on some seriousness, was 1997. Yeah. I ain't touched the ball since. Like, I was just completely done with the game. And anybody that knows me, when I say I'm done, it's a wrap. Like, when I got my mind set on something, I'm going to do it until I say I'm done with it. So that's everything I do. So once I said I was done with basketball, people that knew me was like, yeah, he ain't touching the ball again. And I haven't. So, I just started working, and, I was like, I got to find a way to make my mother proud again, Yeah. That was my MO for that.
Yeah. Nah, just saying, interesting you say that, because we know as our mothers and parents in general, if they mad at us, whatever the case, be mad. But to hear they say they disappointed in you, that's next level. Like, that's what you don't want to hear from your parent. They could be mad. I'll take a mad all day, but when they hit you with the disappointed, yeah, no, definitely. I hear everything you're saying.
That changed my life, bro. And it still took me a minute to like gauge where she was. It still took me some years, but I knew for a fact, I'm like, yo, I gotta earn her trust back. Like, that was my MO at that point. So, I started gradually getting there. And at one point, I felt like I was there, and she came to me. She was like, you know what? This was probably early 2000s. She was like, you know what? I'm proud of you. I was like, at that point, I was like, you know what? I think I made it. Like, I'm back. I made it. Like, and it had nothing to do with basketball. It was just growing up, turning into a man, take care of your business.
Yeah. Nah, no doubt here. And I know it's interesting. You got kind of a second life with the basketball now. I know you mentioned not picking that rock up or what have you. I know we talked about it when you jumped on here. So that's kind of like revived you a little bit just with the game a little bit, I'm thinking.
So this where it's like, I wouldn't say I'm definitely not living through them, but I'm making sure he don't do what I did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's my ultimate goal, is like help him, whatever he wanted to do. It could have been swimming, it could have been chess, and he did all that. It could have been flag football, whatever he chose to do. I just wanted to make sure he didn't, if he hit a wall, I'm there to help him over it. Mm-hmm. That was my MO at that point. When I came into his life, it was he was about 6 years old, 7. Mm-hmm. Said he wanted to play ball. I was like, you want to play seriously? He's like, yeah. I said, you sure? Mm-hmm. I'm like, you sure about this? Like, this, and I had to get reacclimated with the basketball world, because I'm out the loop at this point. Remember, I hadn't played since 97, and now it's like 2000, it's 2011. We fast forward, so
Yes.
we talking 14 years out of the basketball world. You know,
Mhm.
all these AAU teams in youth basketball is around, and the whole basketball world was different now.
Right.
So I had to get reacclimated with how things operated. And strangely enough, all of the basketball connects that I made over the years, and that ended up being my brothers, friends, they were still active in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I started connecting with them, and they giving me information on how to navigate my son. So, and it's to the point now, you know, he's a junior, and it's looking real bright for him, you know.
Yeah.
I was, you know, he's got a team, like between me, his mother, his cousin, and, you know, other family members. We are actively not guiding him, but actively being able to give him real-time information on what he wants to do. So you make the decision what you want to do. We going to make sure you get there. We ain't getting in your way. This is what you want to do. Here's the information. We're going to give you all the information we got. So, you know, his cousin played ball, and you know, my wife, she's sports savvy in any sport. She's sports savvy. So we've navigated through the AAU waters, and you know how rough that can get. So
yes,
especially youth basketball, that kid has been through some stuff at an early age, and he's thriving now. That's all I can say. And he's definitely doing his numbers. And he definitely made a statement this year to the state. You know, he definitely went out there and balled out. You know, so, but it's like watching him, what he's going through. It made me tap into what I went through, like, because I wouldn't talk about basketball after I stopped playing. Like that wasn't something I discussed. You know, it was, even my wife didn't know I played until my son decided he wanted to play basketball. So we would be out somewhere, you know, hanging out, whatever. And my boys, so, you know, because I still hang around a lot of the old Scotty dogs. Like, they still my boys. Like, she would hear them talking about the old days. You know, when I played, she like, you used to play ball? I'm like, yeah. Like, why are you never talking about it? Like, why you don't say nothing? Just like, that's a past life. It's like, it didn't happen. It's like a dream. Like, it didn't, that was the old me. Like, you know, it's just something I never really discussed, but we would be out and random people would come up like, yo, Keith, what up? Yo, you was nice back in the day, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's good to see you. And I started looking at him like, yo, you played ball? Like, yeah. It's like, you was good? I'm like, yeah. So, you know, but the guys that I've met over the years are actually helping him now. Like, his strength and conditioning coach is somebody that used to go to Clifford J. Scott, Robert McGrady. Like, he's literally, he graduated in 81 with Troy Webster. Now. You know, he won back-to-back national, not national, but state championships. So Marquise Bragg and his twin sons, they come over here, spend the night, you know? I got, bro, if I could tell you the kids that have spent the night at my house, they're at the top of the food chain right now in New Jersey basketball.
That's all right. Yeah.
From Mark Armstrong, from Zion Cruz to Aaron Bradshaw to Elliot Cadeau to Todd Pettiford. All these cats done spent the night at my house. Like, we're like it's just crazy how all of this just comes back around. Like, I guess my job was to help him get to where he want to be, you know. So, and that's what I'm doing now. Like, you know, I grind at work. You know, I've been at my job now, 25 years. You know, I worked at the gas and electric company. So, you know, I don't do bad for myself. So, you know, I can't complain about my life at all. Like, I went through what I went through for a reason. So it got me here. Got me talking to you. So
Nah, I know, right? I know, right? I know, right? Nah, even with that said, man, with sports, whether it's bowling, basketball, whatever the case may be, like what sticks with you to this day that you gotten out of that characteristic trait or anything? Like what sticks with you through sports that's with you to this day?
One of my favorite moments is youth games when it was in Alabama. Mm-hmm. That sticks out. Alabama, I was bowling and I was hanging out with the basketball team. Check out who I was hanging out with. I was hanging out with Lee Mullins.
That squad, yeah, I know that squad. Remember West lived the same complex, yeah. Bobby Hurley.
I'm living on Bob Hurley, Jerry Walker,
Chris Jordan too, I think, right?
Chris Jordan, probably the best player that ever nobody knows about that went to St. Anthony. They say that. Bro, I've never seen a talent like him, ever. He was the best player on that team, Chris Jordan. Pat Sullivan, that ended up at North Carolina.
So Gunn was on that team. He wasn't my man for Parsippany Hills. Wasn't he on that team too?
He was on a later team. He was on a team.
Okay.
He was on a team that I was supposed to be on.
Okay.
I check out the team because I finally decided one year to play youth games, basketball though.
Basketball, okay.
So I was gonna flip over because I knew the coaches and the coaches been knew me. So they was like,
Sandy, I didn't know those guys, right?
Yep, Sandy and my man damn. Oh my God, me and him just talked the other day and I'm just forgetting his name. He's still active in my play of basketball too. But yeah, they like, yo, I thought you bowled. I didn't know you played ball. I'm like, yeah. They like, all right. So it was supposed to be me and Danny Hurley in the backcourt.
Wow. Well,
what ended up happening is the commissioner at the time, he was the commissioner of police and he ran the youth games for East Orange. We had a summer league where my high school team and youth games played in the same summer league, which was Elmwood Park. They played in the same summer league. So the commissioner was like, yo, you got to make a decision. He actually went to Tynes and was like, either he plays with us in the summer league and goes to youth games, but if he played with you guys, he can't go. So my coach came to me and called me and was like, yo, you got to make a decision. I ain't mad either way. Either you play with us or you play with them. If you play with us, you can't go to youth games. It was an easy decision for me. I was like, F them. I'm playing with y'all. I'm playing with who I'm playing with in a win. And I don't regret the decision at all. But yeah, I could have played with a team and had a special moment, playing with Danny Hurley in the backcourt and the rest of those guys that was on that team. I think Raj was on that team too. Yeah. And but yeah, that was the reason I wasn't on that particular team. And but that Alabama, that was special. That was, and I actually got the silver medal in bowling that year down in Alabama. So yeah, that was a big deal for me.
Nah, most definitely, man. Can I ask you a few more questions, man? Some random joints before we slide out. Cool. Some random, some not so random here, man. You up in that whip, man. Parkway to Turnpike.
Oh, Turnpike, man. That Parkway is whack.
East Orange guy on a certain side of East Orange here. Springdale or Prospect?
Springdale, bro. Springdale and Grove all day, every day. Columbian Park.
All right. I gotta ask this one directly. I know two people that go by Esco. One raps and one actually trapped internationally. Where the Esco come at for you here?
So it's funny. Amika Wilson gave me that name. So
okay,
when we were younger, we would be out either at a party or something. Women be like, "Yo, you look Spanish." Like I would have people coming up to me speaking Spanish at the time. Like,
okay.
I'm like, yo, I don't know Spanish. Like, I'm not Spanish. They're like, you're not Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever, Cuban. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm just a brother from East Orange.
Yeah.
So it kept happening. And he just called me Esco. And it stuck.
It stuck.
And, it just stuck.
Okay.
Like, I've had plenty of nicknames over the years, but that one stuck.
I never knew. I was curious, man. Action Park or Great Adventure?
Great Adventure, definitely. Because actually, I've never been to Action Park. What's messing with that?
Oh wow. Okay.
Never.
Okay. Playground. Favorite playground to play in?
Oh, Columbian Park all day. Yeah, that was the birth of it all for a lot of guys. That's still here and some that passed on, but that was the birthplace for me.
Okay. Block party at the club?
Damn. Naughty by Nature gave some great block parties back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
Peppermint Lounge. I got to go with the club. Yeah, the club.
Power or Snowfall?
Snowfall.
Facebook or Twitter?
Damn, I got to go with the book. I'm just getting acclimated to Twitter. Like, I still don't know how to fully navigate, but all my old heads know how to operate Facebook better.
Sandwiches, McDonald's on Dodge Street?
Nah, man, sandwiches.
Okay.
Easy, but I got a lot of free food from McDonald's on.
Oh yeah, we knew somebody that was always working there. Yeah, somebody was always working,
especially after a game. After a game, oh man, it was free food all day.
Mm-hmm. Scott.
But yeah, sandwiches.
Scott or Wagner?
Oh, Scott. Scott is tradition. We the last team in East Orange to win a state championship or a county championship. We the last boys, public East Orange school to win both of those championships, and I was part of both of those. And we the only team to go 29-3. So that's I can talk my shit on that note. When I talk to the older heads, like, y'all ain't do that. Like, we the last team to do that. And it's kind of sad because, a lot of public schools get a bad rap, but there's no reason why it's been 31 years since a public school, especially in East Orange, with its history, couldn't produce another championship caliber team in 31 years. It's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, especially with them combining.
Especially with them combining. I don't, then you look at Camden, I feel like, sometimes it's up to people that have maybe too much power to decide to put funds into the kids, because we had a farming system back in our day, You had the Elmwood League that actually you could see where the talent was. And most kids didn't go to Catholic schools, or prep schools. They stayed to the school in their area. And that's why, public schools own Essex County and most of the state for the most part. Public schools ran it. Even though, you had a couple, St. Anthony's ran the table, but, public schools still was dominant in New Jersey at that time. But I think these towns need to reinvest in these kids and, get the sports back up to par, especially in East Orange.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. I know you played a lot of point here, but I don't know if did you ever have a go-to move?
Mid-range, my pull-up.
Okay.
Yep. Jab step right, 2 dribbles with the left, pull up, right in your face. That was it.
You
Either
was
you block it or you don't.
you was like DeMar DeRozan before him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was all about the mid-range game. I didn't even like taking 3-point shots. It was all about anything inside the 3-pointer and the foul. That's where I lived.
Yeah. You joked about early on. You talked about dunking and everything else here. You remember that first dunk you had?
Oh yeah, Elmwood Park.
Yeah.
In a game. It was Elmwood Park. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one I got in the first one I got in the game, I think it was against West Milford. It wasn't even until my junior year because it would take so much energy out of you that, and I played all game. So I was like, I wasn't really gun-ho on dunking. I passed up probably a lot of dunks, but I caught a few. I caught quite a few.
Yeah.
And in the park, yeah, I got a few. I got a body count.
Okay. Nah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is, man. Best team you ever played on in your life at any level?
Best team would probably be I want to say my senior squad. That was my senior and my sophomore squad. My sophomore squad, I think from top to bottom, had the most talented kids in the area and damn near the state. We had a great squad that sophomore year. It was unreal looking back on it. That was an amazing group. And I think two of them, Ray and Hassan, Haas Ellaby, they both made first team all county. They were averaging 15 points and 14 rebounds apiece.
Yeah.
Like, it's unheard of to have two big men averaging 13 and 14 rebounds.
Yeah. Let me ask about anything in particular. Have you you ever beat a team by 80 plus points? I say that because that's why I'm saying it. That's why I'm saying it.
So every so many years, I got to post a clipping that I post on Facebook. Every so many years, reminisce, and I got to remind my Orange family and friends about this game. We beat 114-32. Yeah, we smacked Orange one year. That was my sophomore year, and everybody had at least like 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, was it a situation with Coach Thompson? They was beefing. Coach Thompson, like, you know what? I'm just going to pour it on you this game.
Well, Tynes is he's an Orange guy.
Yeah,
he went to Orange High School. So it was always, tension between them two. But this game, it didn't even start out that way. Like the first quarter, it was relatively close.
Okay.
It was my squad, the second squad, that started the second quarter. And we went on an amazing run. Like, we just went on one of those 20-0 runs, and it was over after that. But it was always tension between them two, but they definitely had respect for each other.
Right.
I will tell you, one game, we played Montville my senior year, and we played them there first, and they tried to hold the ball the whole game. We ended up winning by probably 10 points. But the coach didn't shake Tynes' hand. So he came in the locker room and was like, yo, the next time you play them, if y'all don't score 100 points, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So we ended up beating them, I think, it was bad. Yeah. It was really bad the way we beat them. And I think that was one of them games where I think I was like 11 for 11 from the field. I had like 33 points and 11 assists and like 6 rebounds. Like, we took it personal. And it's like, back then, Tynes would give us a target and we would just go after it.
Okay.
And that was one of those targets. So those two games stick out the most, where we just, we put it on some guys.
Yeah. Now, this one might be tough for you, man. You're all Scott team. It could be positionless. It don't have to be 1 through 5. It could be positionless. You're 5.
Troy Webster's at the top.
Okay.
Troy, and I joke with him every so often. talk trash to him, like, man, we would have beat y'all behind, but I let him know, like, yo, you the best player that I've ever seen at Scott, period. He's at the top of the food chain. Marquise Bragg is one. Rob James, rest in peace. He was an amazing point guard. Like, that's who I grew up watching playing when I was growing up. Like, I played against him in the park. That was just one guy that he was the epitome of a point guard.
Okay.
I think one year he led King at King College. He led the country in assists. He had averaged 14 assists one year. But yeah, he's up there.
Two more.
Who else? Wait a minute, I'm forgetting. Who is he? Derek Canada. Who I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah, Derek Canada is the other. And I hate to say it myself, bro.
Okay. No, I'm
in my own top five. Like, yeah, I talk I earned that.
That's a mean five, man. You kind of answered my next question. I was gonna say who's the best ever at Scott, but you saying Troy.
I think Troy got it. I mean, there was some studs there, but as far as what he did, yeah, he put up some numbers, And there was some other guys that, that came through even before him that was tough.
Yeah.
But for me, it was him.
Yeah. Now, your era, who's best high school player you saw, basketball player?
Probably was, for sure, is Jamal Mashburn.
Mash, yeah.
Jamal was unreal, and we played against him when he played with the Gauchos.
Okay.
We used to go to Little Lads down in Trenton.
Down Trenton,
Yeah, we used to go down there, and we played against him one year. I was like, yo, who the hell is this guy? He was killing. But yeah, he's one of the best players I've ever run across. Yeah. I've run across some good ones, but he's definitely one of the top ones.
Who's somebody who should have made it? However you want to define made it.
I think Jermaine Mathis was one of those guys that
his name's been brought up a couple of times.
Yeah, Jermaine Mathis was a special player. Like, he was in the same class as Roger Rhodes. He was always number 2 in the state as far as the top sophomores at that time. And even as a freshman, he was number 2 behind. He was always right there behind Raj. Yeah. But to me, he had the potential to be just as good as him, if not better. That's one of the kids that I felt like he was potentially on his way to being like a special type player. He's one of those that you would say, yeah, it's definitely Jermaine Mathis. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best part about being Keith Roberts?
Being a dad now. That's the best part for me, being a husband and providing for my family and, just holding that profile down. That's my life now. Like, that's it. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. No, that's real, man.
My 3 boys, my wife, and, whatever they got going on, that come first. What I do now, it don't matter. It's strictly all about them.
Yeah.
That's definitely the best part.
Speaking of the best part, book on your life, what would you call it?
The come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came up, I came up my way. That's what I would call it. I always, if it wasn't to come up, I did it my way. Right. I did things my way. That's for right. Sure.
That's right. And at this point in your life here, looking back, if you used to give some advice to that 17, 18-year-old senior Keith, what advice you give him?
Sit tight.
Yeah.
Sit tight. Don't be impatient. sit tight, wait your turn. Like, earn your turn. Don't wait your turn, earn your turn. You know, just hold on. There's a light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah.
Just hold on. That's what I would tell him. That's probably the only thing I would tell him. Just hold on.
Hold on.
Patient.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
You mentioned your parents from day one, man. What would they say about you now, man?
Oh, they love me to death, man. I'm like salt of the earth.
Okay. Yeah.
They let me know they love what I'm doing. Like the way I operate now, the way I move. They let me know, like, yo, I'm proud of you. So that there is, I couldn't ask for more, you know. Especially in their older years, you know, I don't know how much longer they're gonna be around, you know. So knowing that, I'm satisfied, you know, with that part. Like,
yeah, that's real. That's real. A couple more. As far as I know I know you got 3 kids here, but the one your one that's at Rutgers Prep now.
Yep.
Could he take that Keith at Scott? Could he take him?
No.
You made that clear to him, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he know it.
Okay.
But honestly, he would make me rethink some things. The way he comes, the way he plays, because the way I've taught him to play, he knows how to adapt. So he knows how to. I'm gonna let you see for yourself. I'm gonna send you some stuff. I want your honest take on it. So I ain't gonna tell you much, but the way I taught him to play is, he is such an unselfish player to the point where it's like, I trust him. Like, I don't even have to tell him anything. Like, he self-corrects. He understands the game at an early age. Like, he understands what works and what doesn't, and he can call it out immediately and make adjustments immediately. Like, he's skill-wise, I'm not even close to where he is at this point. Like, the only difference was experience. Like, my experience level was way ahead of his at the same age. But as far as skill level, this kid is catching bodies like it's like he does it all. I mean, he can shoot threes, he got a handle, he could see the floor extremely well. He makes his mistakes, but he corrects. And that's probably the best part of his game. He corrects himself. You know. And, he's getting mature. So
that comes with it.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure to watch his progress. Like, even if I wasn't involved in his life and I was just an outsider looking in, I would say, yo, this kid is on his way to something good.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff, man. And last, what's on deck for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Make enough money that my wife can't spend.
Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one.
That's the goal. I want to make so much money she can't spend it on. That's the goal. Like talking to me right now, you asking me what's my goal, man. Listen, I'm like an old man at this point, man. Yeah. I'm just enjoying it, yo. That's right. Like, I got a retired mindset at this point. It's just, I'm enjoying, especially with how many people we lost over these last few years.
I know.
It's crazy. So my mindset has definitely changed. The older my kids get, it's like, it's just all about them, you know? It's my days and my wants is over. Like, what I want is for them to, grow up, be, productive citizens and, make a life for themselves and others, bring something to the table to help somebody else. It's all about, not just coming up for yourself, but who you can bring with you and, and help somebody else. And, that's something the oldest is he's grasped that in an early age, he's willing to help out, and not just be about yourself. So
No, no. Well said, man. Keith, I appreciate this. I mean, I'm only a year behind you, so I was obviously got to see you back when, from afar or what have you. And like I said, but just to sit here, just chop it up and just hear a little bit more and just your journey and just things you was able to just reflect and look back on, man, and even communicate before we even got online, man. I was excited to get you here, man. I just want to say thank you for the joy that you've given me, even back then, and even the joy you're giving me now, just to sit here and, like I said, just kick it with you for a few. I really appreciate this, man. You don't know how
I
much.
appreciate you, brother, man. You took me down a lane that I didn't remember. You know what I mean? You allowed me to speak on some things that, a lot of folks that don't know me or think they knew me didn't know certain things about me. Like, you damn near had me crying on this thing, bro.
Uh-oh. Nah, that's not the intention, man. But I appreciate you feeling comfortable to share. So nah, thank you. I appreciate this, man. And I look forward to, I know you got another year, and I look forward to catching a game. I got to get my butt down. I keep saying this because, like I said, these days I'm in Connecticut here. Everybody's still at the crib. Everybody's still down there, man. But I got a few games I got to catch between your little man. I know Marquise is coaching. So I got some people I gotta go see, man. Next go
Yeah,
around.
I'm gonna send you some YouTube links because we record all his games and we upload them to YouTube and stuff. So I'm gonna definitely send you some links and so you get up to speed with that. Get to it when you can. Hit me back when you can. But this here you're doing, bro. This is great work you're doing, bro. You're telling stories that people need to hear.
Yeah, and people such as yourself, man, just willing to share. Thank you, man, and I appreciate, man, and salute too, man. I appreciate everything, man.
Same to you, brother. Be easy and keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it. We'll talk.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well worth the wait for me here just to get them on, hear about Keith's journey, what have you here. Like I said, hopefully there's some takeaways from some other folks as well, but I know I had some here too, man. Let's just live and continue to live here. With that being said, I'm just going to ride on out. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.